What is your relationship like with Nick? Because I would think Nick likes offensive linemen. Nick's kind of a tough guy. How do you relate with him?
Man, I love Nick. We, hit it off from the very beginning. He's very passionate. He's very motivated to get stuff done. And what I like about him most is just how he conducts meetings every day, our schedule, and just the accountability part. So one thing that jumped out to me immediately was whenever he came in, how whenever we watched practice, whoever it was, whoever made a mistake, their number was on the board. So it didn't matter what position you are, who you are, everybody's held accountable. And so I thought that was really cool and allowed us to, raise our standards. And I think about him as he's misunderstood. I think some of the emotional antics on the sidelines can be misconstrued for who he is and what he is. But to us and everybody in the Eagles, man, we love him. He's such a great communicator, and just, whatever the team he's assembled over the past 5 years, we've been competitive. We've been competing, for Super Bowls. And, I know last year wasn't what we wanted, but, here we are revamping again. So
Sean Mannion's the new offensive coordinator. He's young. He's got a lot of new ideas. What will it look like for me? What will the tweaks look like? What will feel a little different?
Yeah, so Sean was a part of the QB tree, so it's very similar to maybe what they do in San Francisco. They love to run outside zone, making sure defenders cover every gap on the field. And, along with that, we'll run play action off of that. Everything looks the same. The motions look the same. And so I think it really puts people in a predicament, especially linebackers, middle of the field. They'll be asked to cover a lot of grounds, and everything. It's very hard to differentiate between what plays, so hard to diagnose. So it gets players thinking, and it gets players covering every part of the field. So you wear them down, with their conditioning, running sideline to sideline, and then I think with how we're hiding stuff, it will just complement everything we're doing.
That is music to the ears of many, many, many Philadelphia Eagles fans. I legit almost skipped this cause this was pretty much 2 questions, 2 segments in one. I almost skipped both of them, or at least just one of them. And did I get lucky? I did not. Cause there's the 2 things that I want to talk about: what he said about Sean Mannion and about the accountability. I love accountability. But before we jump into it, please Philadelphia Eagles fans, do not forget to subscribe and watch the full length of the video. When you guys do that, views go through the roof. Subscribers go through the roof. And it's not about chasing views. It's not about chasing subscribers. It's about being able to create Philadelphia Eagles content that people genuinely want to watch and discuss. So, we can keep having the most unbiased, grounded, honest conversations about the Eagles. It makes such a huge difference, and I would really, really appreciate it. Man, I did not know Lane Johnson was going to be talking about accountability. I'm going to have to cut that clip and save it in my little library of clips that I always will go to as reference points in all random future videos, because accountability, man. Oh, holding players accountable. It's good enough for Lane Johnson, man, then it's good enough for me. Take note, Lamar Jackson fans. Someone got in such a fight with me cause they were so upset that I used the word accountable. You didn't mean to use the word accountability. Like, yes, I did. No, you didn't. You're making up your own definition of accountability. And it's like, if Lane Johnson is using laughter, it the exact way how I'm using it in a football context, in a coaching context, in a player context, then I think I'm using it appropriately. Oh my gosh, I've been fighting for over a year, I think, at this point, the definition of accountability and what accountability means. So hearing Lane Johnson say that, it just warms my heart. It just warms my heart. Philly gets it, man. So yeah, I'm sorry. That's all, that's a personal thing right there, man. But yeah. I love that. And that's the thing. It's actually really funny, because I was going to make a clip. I saw like a random clip of a practice. I think it was with Mackay Lemon, and it was just so cool to see. It's another clip that I honestly want to save in the library to reference, because you really see like on the field coaching. And you can see what any of these little camps, OTAs, all the other stuff that leads up to like the true practices. You see really what some of the stuff that they're working on and the value of being there. And the difference when someone says like, oh, they're injured but they're still around. It's like no, like these are some of the little things that you need to understand. These are some of the things that you can't work on unless you're like actually there present on the field, not just watching film, not just whatever. And then you see how even when someone is doing something at a high level that there's still plenty of different ways to tweak it, little things, keep your head up, keep your eyes up, stretch the field for whatever it may be, whatever some of the cues are, and it's just so awesome to see. It really is, and I was watching that clip and listen, no matter how bad we want to say Kevin Patullo was or anything like that. They still had that. They're still going to have coaching. They're still going to have coaches. Like, it's not a free-for-all like Jay Johnson just talked about accountability and all of that. But, it just felt like they did not really have that last season. And if they did have accountability, they had no answers. They had no solutions. That's one of my other things that I always repeat all the time. A coach needs to give you, not only do they need to diagnose the problem, but they need to give you the solutions to the problem. And then that leads directly into what Lane was talking about Saquon Barkley, right? Like, all the common themes of what he's saying is we are making things harder for the defense, right? Just both, like from intellectually, conceptually, to also, why? Oh, from like a conditional physiological, like we're also going to tire them out, right? Like, there's all these things that we're going to be able to do to also wear you down, right? We're speaking from an alignment, like that was the whole thing, which is it was just the job of the offensive line to just to slowly wear down the D-line as the game continued. Like, that was the bread and butter, especially in 2024. And that's why they were able to really just break what am I talking about? Break free in the second half. I don't know where I got break 3 from. And so, you saw that a lot. And then it reminded me of there's a guy from the Giants and he was on First Things First for a little bit. I don't know if they were trying him out, but then he just kind of vanished. And he talked about that as like an alignment that he just loved it. You just know when you just take the soul out of the D-line and that they're just done. And it's like that so much what the Eagles relied on. Not to mention, obviously, just, one-on-one and all that other type of stuff. Like, just, hey, Jay, just run real fast and then get free. And, Devonta, hey, you just run real fast, too, and get free. Saquon, please just run and real fast and I guess get free. Yeah, sure. I guess that works, right? And like that's what it was. And so, to finally evolve past that, and you can see the different layers that are involved. Right? Just some of the misdirection, some of the disguises, some of the, again, just wearing down the offense. Like, this is when you see a coaching staff be able to play chess. Think about it like this. Did we ever see Kevin Patullo play chess? The answer is no, we did not. Not once. We absolutely did with Kellen Moore. I'll never be able to find the clip, but it was so beautiful, and Romo completely called it out perfectly, and just talked about how Philly has run this play, like 3 different times, and all 3 times like there was a different way of doing it. One time Saquon got it, one time Jalen got it, and it was just like let's take that's the chess match. And a lot of it was actually the decision-making of Jalen Hurts as well. Because he's the one that's going to be deciding in terms of, which way do they want to approach it. And it's just like you just never ever saw that at all. And that with Kevin Patullo. And that was in a year of 2024 when that was not the bread and butter of their team, right? Like that was not, as I just talked about, like that's not what their approach was. So, just the idea that they're going to have that approach, also, you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but like Jalen Hurts is actually an amazing decision maker. Like that's something that I got to make sure to really emphasize in my next Jalen Hurts video. But he is an awesome decision maker. You could say, oh, he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions because he's too scared, or he's too conservative. It's actually great decision making. It's great decision making. And like I've said a million times, so much of the offense, specifically 2024, were the RPOs. Like he is the one that in many of these moments is deciding, I'm going to keep the ball. I'm going to keep it and run. I'm going to keep it and throw, or I'm giving it to Saquon. Like he is the one, and he has proven to be an awesome decision maker in that regard. And so the idea that this offense now is going to be able to be like Shanahan, cause since he brought up the 49ers, it's like Shanahan talks about how he has Brock Purdy go up there. It's very straightforward. It's like I'm giving you 2 plays to go, you know, to walk up there. If you see what it is, boom. If not, you know, kill, and there we go. And it's just like that's it. Like that's all I'm asking you to do. The rest of it is just going to be processing, pre-snap, post-snap, and then, let the decisions kind of unfold from there. And I just love this idea of putting Jalen in this position to be able to have another layer, because of course he's always going to have the ability to change plays. We've seen him do that a million times. But have so done what seemingly should be in a much more direct fashion, right? In a much more direct way. As I reference my library clips, listen to Shanahan discuss. This is from on the TK show. I think it's like the some 49ers radio show or something. I don't really know. But it's Kyle Shanahan talking, and just listen cause this is this chef's kiss. Matt Ryan, my first year with them, he's like, hey, can I audible and get out of this? I'm like, dude, you can do whatever you want. I think he'll start to trust that, hey, you normally audible on that play on in the past. Well, us when we have that look, we have a contingency plan right there. So you can't just throw it to him and not think and have to change their angles react. That's an option. If we don't put that there, I'm not going to put you in a bad situation. So now I'm going to have you call 2 plays. If you see that, I'm going to have you touch your ears and go to the second play. So we've already given you the option. You don't have to make it up in your head in the middle of the game and look for everything. Or I don't have the second option. I don't have a contingency plan. We're going to coach you up on all week cause you are responsible here. This is a play with a lot of issues. If you get the right look, please run it. If not, get to something else you like. If I say that to a quarterback, I'll be like, what are you doing? Are you going to, work through, are you going to work this week? See, so what essentially he is saying is let me, the coach, do all the RK for you. I'm the one that's coming up with all the contingency plays. I'm the one that's coming up with plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, play up. Like I'm doing. I just switched kind of play and plan. I don't know why. And it's just like I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. And so you still allow your quarterback to be the decision maker, to be the operator, but it's with all the ammo that the coach is providing you. And though I do think it's borderline magic when we see these quarterbacks have all the control like it was with Brady. That's why I still reference this, because I still think like just go back and watch Phillip Rivers. Those games were not pretty with the Colts, this season. But you see him operating at just such a brilliant level. And it was just like, and this is why Tom Brady thinks that the other brand of football is essentially less than, right? And it's just like, well, Tom, you are literally Tom Brady, okay? So like it's just different. But I love the idea for whatever reason and I think I don't know if I have this clip saved and I'm not going to play it even if I do. But Greg Cosell talked about, when you talk about with Caleb and simplification and you could tell that he clearly has said that in the past and for whatever reason people have obviously yelled at him for saying, they simplified this offense for, Caleb or whatever. And E's like, that's the job of an offensive coordinator. The job of the offensive coach is to simplify things. It doesn't mean dumb it down in a way because you're not smart enough, but it's to make it as simple and as straightforward. Doesn't mean that it's that you don't need to be intelligent or that you don't need to have, a high skill set to be able to execute it, but it's just like, it's just there's no other way to put it. Just simplify. And that's literally what Shanahan is discussing here. So, I'm so excited this idea that there'll be a simplification, still putting tremendous responsibility and decision-making on Jalen's shoulders, as well as all the other things that will then slowly chip away at a defense, right? Combined with there was one last point and it slipped my mind. Well, and the chess match of play calling. That's it. I love it. It's great. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's amazing. Combined with all the accountability, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Come on, man. Man. I love it. 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 There's nothing not to love there. There's just nothing not to love there. And credit to the Eagles for seeing that. Credit for the Eagles for seeing that. That's why they did their due diligence. That's why they got who they got in Sean McVay. That's why when everyone said, we need an experienced play caller. We need an experienced play caller. Do why? The confidence and the courage and the fearlessness that the Eagles have to hire Sean Marion who has no play calling experience when they just got burned by that very thing. Right? And that's because the Eagles ultimately knew what they wanted. They ultimately knew they had the vision of what they wanted to do and that is what they went out to. That's why they interviewed everyone. And everyone kept trying to be like, it's because no one will work with the Eagles. The Eagles are really and it's like, no, the Eagles were doing their due diligence. They were making sure that they got exactly who they wanted. And it's so funny because obviously Mike McDaniel was a top was a high up there on the list and all of that which I think would have been a great hire, don't get me wrong. But like he's working on Justin Herbert's footwork right now, right? He's like working on Justin Herbert's footwork. And could you imagine if Mike McDaniel got here and he's working on Justin Herbert's footwork? Like could you imagine how it would be a media frenzy? He's fixing his footwork, that's how bad of a quarterback Jalen Hurts is. And it's just like even someone like Mike McDaniel is, within the first, month or so is already trying to, tweak and change Justin Herbert's footwork which again is a good thing. Mind you. These are all good thin. GS for Justin Herbert as well. But it's just like, it's just always fascinating to see, how some of these stories unfold and the conversations that we had a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago and how we're having them now, but I'm just yet to hear anything I don't like or that makes me uncomfortable about how all of this is unfolding. And I think Lane Johnson did such an amazing job of just in very plain simple, easy to understand, this is what our offense is going to look like. This is what we want to do. And then he also very effortlessly explained who Nick Sirianni is. But, he did use a keyword there. The sideline antics. He did say he did use the word antics. He didn't say sideline moments. He said antics, and antics is a very, very, very specific word. So, I did find that honestly genuinely interesting. Lane Johnson's a well-spoken man, so, he didn't fumble over his words there. So, I did think that was interesting, but accountability, a higher quality offense, chess match, better play calling, simplification in the positive direction. Making things easier for your offense, harder for the defense. Accountability, 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 accountability. Accountability. I love it, man. I absolutely, positively love it. But, those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? What do you guys think? About what Lane Johnson had to say about, Nick Sirianni, about what Sean McVay is looking to do with this offense. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But, ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here. I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.